In a remote and cold wilderness, a man named Jake, an avid wildlife enthusiast, stumbled upon an astonishing and heart-wrenching sight: an injured wolf trapped in a cruel wire trap, its body frozen to the ground in a desperate and painful state. This harrowing scene was one that Jake, who had spent years observing wildlife, never expected to witness firsthand. The wolf, once a symbol of grace and strength in the wild, now lay helpless, struggling to move as its fur clung to the ice beneath it, its body stiff from the bitter cold. Upon seeing the animal in distress, Jake's heart sank, and without a second thought, he sprang into action. He had seen the devastation caused by human-made traps before, but this was different. This time, he couldn't stand by. The wolf's piercing eyes locked onto his as he approached cautiously, fully aware of the dangers the animal might pose in its panicked and pained state. But Jake knew that the wolf, like all creatures in the wild, deserved a chance to live free from suffering. He carefully examined the trap that had ensnared the wolf's leg, a cruel metal contraption that had caused deep cuts and left the animal in agony. Jake reached for his tools, gentle yet firm, slowly and steadily working to free the wolf. Every move had to be calculated, as the animal's fear and pain could easily turn it into a danger to itself and to Jake. The wolf, sensing the help was near, seemed to calm down, its breath quick and shallow as Jake worked to loosen the trap. After what felt like an eternity, with great care and patience, Jake finally managed to release the trap, but the wolf was far from free. It was weak, cold, and in pain, but Jake wasn't about to leave it to suffer. He stayed with the wolf for hours, offering warmth and comfort as best as he could. Even though he knew that the wilderness could be unforgiving, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the snowy landscape, but Jake refused to leave the wolf's side. Then, something incredible happened. After a long while of resting and regaining its strength, the wolf, still a bit shaky, lifted its head, looking at Jake with an expression that seemed to speak volumes, a mixture of gratitude and understanding, as though the wolf realized that this human was not its enemy but its rescuer. With a sudden burst of energy, the wolf rose to its feet, shook off the last of the ice that clung to its fur, and took a few tentative steps. Jake held his breath, watching in awe as the wolf tested its wounded leg. It limped slightly but moved with purpose, as if grateful for its second chance at life. The connection between them was profound. The wolf, once trapped in a situation it couldn't control, now moved toward freedom, not just physically but also in a way that seemed spiritual, as if it was acknowledging the bond that had been formed. But just before disappearing into the wilderness, the wolf turned its head back to look at Jake one last time. It was a moment frozen in time, one that Jake would carry with him forever. In that fleeting glance, the wolf seemed to convey a silent message: "Thank you for saving me." Without hesitation, the wolf then disappeared into the snowy landscape, blending seamlessly into its natural environment. Jake stood there for a while, taking in the gravity of what had just occurred. What he had witnessed was not just an act of rescue, but a powerful reminder of the resilience and beauty of nature, the bond between man and animal, forged in a single moment of compassion, was something that transcended words. Jake knew that, despite the hardships both he and the wolf faced in this harsh world, there was always hope for redemption and a chance for recovery. The astonishing part wasn't just that the wolf had been saved. It was a quiet, profound act of the wolf itself. Despite its pain, despite the trauma it had experienced, the wolf chose to move forward, to take the first step toward freedom. And in doing so, it reminded Jake of the power of survival, the instinct to keep going no matter the odds. As Jake made his way back through the wilderness, he couldn't help but reflect on the encounter. It wasn't just the wolf that had been saved that day. It was a sense of humanity and kindness that Jake had been able to offer, and in return, the wolf had shown him the true meaning of resilience. This act of rescue would forever be etched in Jake's heart, not only as an act of compassion, but as a life lesson on the unspoken connection that exists between all living creatures, a reminder that even in the harshest of circumstances, there is always room for hope and healing.